Hello, today we're going to talk about happiness. Some of the topics we'll be looking at include the short life of emotional ups and downs, the relationship between wealth and well-being, why it is that money can't buy more happiness, and also predictors of happiness. In beginning our discussion about happiness, one of the things we need to take a look at is the concept of resilience. Some of us have this ability to bounce back after adversity, and researchers have determined that some of us are better at it than others. It's a personal strength that helps us to be able to cope with stress and recover from the struggles that we have in life. Most people are pretty good at being able to do this. A remarkable example of it is given in our textbook of the person in this picture, Anna Putt, who lived in South Midlands, England. She suffered a brainstem stroke that left her locked in. For months afterwards, she recalled, "I was paralyzed from the neck down and was unable to communicate. These were very frightening times. But with encouragement from family, friends, faith, and medical staff, I tried to keep positive. In the 3 years that followed, she learned to talk by nodding at letters, to steer an electric wheelchair with her head, and to use a computer by nodding while wearing spectacles that guide a cursor. Despite her paralysis, she has reported, 'I enjoy going out in the fresh air. My motto is don't look back, move forward. God would not want me to stop trying and have no intention of doing so. Life is what you make of it.'" You may recall when we looked at psychology's 4 big ideas in chapter 1, one of them is an area of psychology now that focuses on strengths as well as challenges, that being positive psychology. And positive psychology is the area of psychology that's very interested in studying happiness. I'd like to ask you to think for a moment about what makes you happy. When I ask this question in class, many students will include in their answer family, friends, emphasizing the importance of relationships in helping us to experience happiness. Also, achieving important goals in life is another one that often comes up. Realizing our potential more fully by being able to give expression to our strengths in our daily lives. In so many words is also one that comes up fairly often. When thinking about happiness, we can think about 2 different kinds of happiness. One is a more fleeting kind of happiness that involves some sort of pleasant experience, like, say, going to a concert. There's another kind of happiness, though, a more enduring kind of happiness that comes from a life well lived, a life filled with meaning and purpose and deep connection with others. That is the kind of happiness that helps us to experience a richer life more than the other kind of happiness that's more temporary and fleeting kind of happiness that we experience, intermittently, and it's a kind of happiness that we all enjoy and look forward to, but it's different from the more enduring kind of happiness that is also possible in our lives. People who are happy, they tend to feel a greater sense of trust and safety in their lives. They tend to focus more on positive than negative information. They're more likely to reach out to other people and do good deeds, to be altruistic, and those acts themselves actually enhance the person's happiness and sense of purpose. In the positive psychology literature on happiness, another term that we run across is subjective well-being, and many positive psychology researchers use this term synonymously to mean the same thing as happiness. As you can see, it's more of a self-perceived happiness or satisfaction with life in which the person experiences more positive than negative emotions and generally pleasant life experiences. So when we experience positive emotions and negative emotions, it's been found that we tend to overestimate how long these emotional experiences are going to last. Emotions like thoughts are temporary states, kind of like clouds in the sky, they drift on by. And what we're experiencing now, what we're thinking now, what we're feeling now, will likely be different than what we might be thinking or feeling in the future. The good news about that finding is that we do tend to overestimate how long we're going to be feeling bad. As you can see on the slide, people tend to move on from a bad day to a better than usual good mood the following day. So if we can appreciate how our emotional states are temporary, it can help us a good bit in getting through the difficult times to appreciate that, hey, this is temporary. Eventually, I'm going to feel better again. And we might also tend to underestimate our resilience, the extent to which we have the ability to overcome times of difficulty in our lives. Do you think you would be happier if you were to win the lottery? Well, interestingly, it has been found that money does not necessarily make us happier. If we live in poverty, where our basic necessities in life are not provided for, more money can help us to experience a better quality of life because we are able to better take care of ourselves and those basic necessities. But beyond that, more money does not necessarily lead to increased happiness. As you can see in this graph, looking at the relationship between income and happiness, income has increased over time, but the level of happiness has remained fairly stable. Looking at the percentage of people describing themselves as very happy in this one study that was done. So what are some ways in which we can contribute to our happiness, to enhance our well-being day by day? There is a list of 10 activities that are included in our chapter towards the end of the chapter. Now, these were developed by David Meyer, who is actually one of the authors of our textbook. And I'd like to go over these with you briefly and ask you to think about the extent to which you are already using these methods in your daily life and maybe ways in which you can use them more so. Taking control of one's time, acting happy. Sometimes by changing our behavior, it can actually change the way that we feel. One example of acting happy would be smiling or laughing. Laughter itself actually can put us in a better mood. At the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, they have patients who are in cancer treatment who participate in what's called laughter yoga, where they get together in a group and they just laugh with one another. It doesn't even have to be over anything funny. Just the act of laughing can help them to feel happier. Seeking work and leisure that engage one's skills. It's such a blessing when we find a type of work that allows us to more fully realize our potential and to use our strengths in life in ways that can be fulfilling and that can also make a difference in the lives of other people. Spending our money more on shared experiences rather than things. Things wear out, but experiences produce memories that can last a lifetime. Taking up aerobic exercise. We looked earlier at how this can be beneficial. Getting enough sleep, allowing our body to get the sleep that it wants. What a difference this can make in our overall feeling of well-being. And we also know from things we've talked about earlier that getting enough sleep helps us to learn more effectively and to remember better. Giving priority to close relationships. As we were saying earlier, it is through close relationships that we can experience enduring happiness. Focusing beyond the self. This involves reaching out to other people, acts of service, a life of service, working to make a difference in the lives of others. This can do a lot towards contributing to our own sense of well-being. One of the things that I find exciting about where you are in life now is that you are pursuing your education, you're going to be pursuing a career, and through that career, it'll open even more doors of opportunity for you to serve other people. This has been the case for me in my life. My education opened up doors of opportunity for me that I never would have imagined when I was in college, and have given me the privilege of being able to strive to make a difference in the lives of other people. Counting one's blessings and recording one's gratitude. I'd like to ask you to consider doing an exercise where you would write down at the end of each day for a week 3 things that you're grateful for, and to get into the habit of thinking about the things in your life that you're grateful for. And I would like to also encourage you to pick somebody in your life towards whom you feel grateful and write that person a letter and send it to them, expressing your gratitude, or hand it to them and then talk with them about uh, what's in that letter. Gratitude is one of those things that we can focus on really at any time if we choose to do so, even when we're going through difficult times, and perhaps even especially when we're going through difficult and challenging times. It can make a difference for us to step back and think about things that we are grateful for. Personally, 2 of the ways of dealing with difficult times that I find particularly helpful are prayer and gratitude. And a third one is talking with other people about what I'm feeling and allowing them to support me, and trying to be there for others and to support them whenever I have the opportunity to do that. Nurturing one's spiritual self, the last item on this list, emphasizes the importance of the religious life and having a connection with God, and a feeling of connection with all of humanity and a responsibility to serve others. I hope this list will give you some things to think about, looking at your life now and ways in which you are enhancing the quality of your life and the choices that you're making, and perhaps some changes you might make that could enrich your life and sense of well-being even further. Thank you. Peace be with you.